Dr. Amy says we are flattening the curve.
And wind advisories and high wind warnings continue as we head into the overnight. Eventually the winds will settle down, but believe it or not, there's a chance for snow coming our way in the forecast. Also, a very special celebration for a 100-year-old veteran.
Plus, feel the burn at home. We have a full body workout without the need for equipment. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And a very good Monday afternoon to everyone at home. I hope you are able to make the most of your Easter weekend under these very difficult conditions. Betsy, how was yours?
It was a little less family and a whole lot of fun. So it was just one of those kind of new normals that we've all been adjusting to. But we checked all the boxes that were supposed to be checked as far as Easter egg hunts and baskets and family time and ham dinners and that whole thing.
Very good. My kids are on each coast, and we had a wonderful game of Zoom Pictionary, and I can tell you the games were just as spirited and just as fun as if all of us were in the same room. We had a good time.
Awesome.
We are standing by, as we do each day, for the start of President Trump's daily coronavirus press briefing. When he makes his way to the podium, we will take you there immediately. But first, let's get started with the big headlines on the actually, no, not the coronavirus headlines today. The high winds, Betsy. That's a big story right now.
Yeah, the winds have definitely been zipping out there. We have video that's in from North Ridgeville of street signs and trees that are blowing around. Wind gusts have been peaking this afternoon, but overall things are going to start to get a little bit better. Matt Wentz is in and tracking the latest for us from his house as well. Hi, Matt. And I know we have a lot of power outages that are already being reported across the area.
Yeah, Betsy, you're absolutely right. We've got right now close to 3,000 power outages across Northeast Ohio. Primary areas for that, Cuyahoga and then Stark County down towards the Canton, Akron area. Overall, we've seen a lot more in terms of the power outages. Earlier today, we were up in the $6,000, $7,000, or not dollar. That'd be nice for many of us, but I'm just thinking about that stimulus. But a lot of customers affected by that earlier. Things starting to get better. That's the good news. So what's the deal with the wind? When does it start to ease up? Well, look at your top gusts today across Northeast Ohio. We've got gusts that were up to 56 miles per hour in Jefferson out in Ashtabula County, 55 in Lorain, Geneva on the lake, areas near the lake shore, all the way over towards Brattonall, checking in with winds near 50 miles per hour, and even Menor and Willoughby checking in at 47 mile per hour wind gusts as we went throughout the morning hours and the early afternoon. Still have some gusty winds out there now. These are your sustained winds and gusts in the yellow. We've got anywhere from 10 to as much as 30 mile per hour sustained winds with gusts still approaching 40, strongest near the lakeshore, where we have the least amount of friction coming off Lake Erie. As a result, a high wind warning remains in effect for areas of Cuyahoga, Lake Geauga, and Ashtabula counties through 11 o'clock tonight. A wind advisory elsewhere through 8. Winds will start to subside because this area low pressure responsible for all of the severe weather across the southeastern half of the United States. For our gusty winds here and for the snow on the northwest side of things is finally starting to move away. You can see all those isobars or lines of equal pressure. When those are close together, that equals a very windy scenario. But we've got colder air setting in here this evening, and that's going to be the trend over the next couple days. You can see our temperatures, the 60s and 50s, now long gone. We're back into the 40s. Where do we go to the rest of the week, and when do these winds finally subside? We'll detail that coming up in your forecast.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. Some high-dollar power outages out there. Hopefully folks are going to get online very soon. We'll check in with you on the rest of the forecast coming up in just a little bit. Jay?
All right, Betsy, now it's on to your top coronavirus headlines at this hour. There are now 6,975 confirmed cases of the coronavirus here in Ohio. Just shy of 7,274 people have died statewide. The White House says President Donald Trump has no intentions of firing Dr. Anthony Fauci. This follows a retweet from the president this weekend that included the hashtag #FireFauci. Dr. Fauci drew fire from the president's supporters when he made comments yesterday that earlier steps to limit social interaction would have saved lives. Also, Governor Mike DeWine has restricted liquor sales in 6 counties now in Ohio. He's done this to keep people from Pennsylvania from crossing the border to buy their booze here in the Buckeye State. Pennsylvania has closed their liquor stores now for some time. Now, the big news from Governor DeWine's media briefing today: Ohioans continue to make progress in stopping the spread of the coronavirus, but we continue to see clusters of outbreaks at nursing homes across the state. There's now a new order in place intended to help. Our Laura Queso has the latest from Governor DeWine's daily press briefing. Laura?
Let's talk about the curve first. It's pretty steady in what Dr. Amy Acton is considering peak. 65,000 tests have been done here in the state of Ohio. Dr. Amy Acton says we are staying flat, just like the curve shows. We have been steady, a stable peak. But prisons and nursing homes are facing issues. 3 News investigator Rachel Polanski has looked into both of these issues extensively. And today, the state took action. Dr. Acton issued an order that requires long-term care facilities to notify residents and families within 24 hours of a resident or staff member becoming infected. The state will also provide a list of long-term care facilities where an associated person has tested positive.
Proceed with caution. It's really, really hard. It's not the fault of a nursing home. Most nursing homes are doing an outstanding job, but it is the fact that this disease is so contagious, and as even workers or caregivers come, even as doctors were visiting these nursing homes, any one of us could asymptomatically be carrying this virus from the community into a place like this. That's why we have so many of the rules in place.
Also discussed today are those masks that state and local leaders are encouraging all of us to wear when we leave the house. Coming up at 6, I'll tell you what Dr. Amy Acton is saying about the future of all of us wearing those masks in public. Laura Queso, 3 News.
Thank you, Laura. Well, now on your feed at 5. Over the weekend, one of the country's largest meat processors extended the closing of a plant in South Dakota. Now the CEO is warning that a shortage of meat could be on the way. Brandon Simmons joins us now with more details.
Do you remember what store shelves looked like at the beginning of the coronavirus outbreak? If you don't, here's a reminder. To this day, there are still certain items that are hard to find, including toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and disinfectant wipes. But so far, we haven't seen widespread shortages of any food items like meat or veggies, but that could change. Smithfield Foods announced a Sioux Falls production facility that accounts for 4 to 5% of pork production in the United States will remain closed indefinitely amid COVID-19. That equates to about 18 million servings of food per day. In a statement, CEO Kenneth Sullivan says the closure of this facility, combined with a growing list of other protein plants that have shuttered across our industry, is pushing our country perilously close to the edge in terms of meat supply. End quote. To be clear, stores have plenty of stock at this moment, but that could change down the road. Now, to help keep shortages from happening, food industry leaders say you should only buy what you need. Don't panic buy, because that leads to more shortages, and it will take even longer for suppliers to replenish shelves. So remember, just buy what you need. I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.
And don't forget, we have a lot of small butchers and meat shops around Northeast Ohio that you can also take advantage of. Shop local. Well, stimulus checks are starting to hit people's bank accounts, but many of you still have a lot of questions. So we're bringing in our consumer reporter, Danielle Serino, to answer them. And Danielle, the first question comes from Kelly, who wants to know, do we have to register for direct deposit in order to get our checks?
No, not if you are already registered for direct deposit to get your tax refunds, nor if you are with a government program and they have your information, your banking information. And when I say a government program, I'm talking about Medicaid or veterans benefits or Social Security disability. If they have that information, no. If they don't worry, you will still be able to get a check. It'll just be mailed to you. Now, it will take some more time to get your check, obviously, if you're not enrolled in direct deposit. And those paper checks, they're probably not going to come until the last week in April. The lower income people are going to get their checks first. People in the higher brackets, well, they could be waiting until mid-September, and that includes for the people who don't have their information in or have never filed taxes, and we'll get to that in a moment. But you could, yes, be waiting until September. And remember, though, it's $1,200 for anybody that is 75,000 or below. For anybody between 75 and 99, you will reduce that benefit by $5 for every $100 over 75.
All right, so let's say somebody all of a sudden says, okay, fine, no paper checks. I want to do direct deposit all of a sudden. And that brings up the question from Cindy. She says, I'm hoping you can tell me now how to sign up for direct deposit of the stimulus checks.
Yes, you have to provide then your information, your banking information to the government at irs.gov. That is the only site you can go to. But that is not set up yet. The IRS says it's going to be setting it up mid-April, which obviously is around now. You should keep checking the site every day and sign up immediately so you can get that check as soon as possible.
Okay, and finally, a lot of people have been asking about those who don't pay taxes. The Botten family wanted to know, will older people that are on Social Security get stimulus checks since they don't file taxes and live on a fixed income?
Yes, you are entitled to your check as well, but you do have to go on again to irs.gov and provide your information to them. And they made it very simple for people to do it. That is set up. They're going to ask you a series of questions, and then they'll handle it for you. But I want to remind you, please do not go to anywhere but irs.gov. You're going to be probably getting scam phone calls, scam emails with links saying, oh, do this and we'll get your check faster to you. Or, we can get you even more money that we promised you. Do not believe that. Do not click any of those links. irs.gov, and I'll actually have more information on some of the scams that are out there that's coming up tonight at 11.
All right, great information. Thank you so much, Danielle. We appreciate it. Well, it's time now to get a check on what's been making headlines with Russ Mitchell. Russ, a lot of folks had a very nasty day yesterday as far as the weather goes, but things seem to be settling down a lot now, thankfully. Yeah.
And you would know all about that.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Well, what other headlines have been happening today?
Thank you, Betsy. Here's what's going on. Today marks 50 years since some terrifying moments in space. The crew of Apollo 13 faced horror when an oxygen tank exploded, and Mission Commander James Lovell uttered those famous words, Houston, we've had a problem. After a very tense few days, 4 days in fact, the astronauts made it safely back home. Strong storms have killed at least 22 in Mississippi, Georgia, Arkansas, and South Carolina. Dozens more have been injured, trees and power lines knocked down. It is estimated more than 1 million customers are without electricity. And last week, University Hospitals put out a call for folks to help make masks for caregivers. As of today, all of those kits have been given out, and so far, volunteers have returned nearly 30,000 finished masks. Very nice thing they're doing there. More nice things to tell you about at 5:30, Betsy.
All right, well, we'll see you then. Thanks a lot, Russ. Appreciate it. Jay?
Well, Betsy, today is Dingus Day. That's the annual celebration on Easter Monday. Hundreds of people normally would have been in the streets of Cleveland gathering to hear some polka music, enjoy Polish beer and food, but that can't happen, of course, because of the coronavirus. So the celebration for the 10th anniversary, organizers decided they would put together a virtual Dingus Day event. And if you were missing the sounds of Polish music, here's just a small taste.
I want to tell you what you need to do.
They also talked about the history of polka music and much more. If you'd like to enjoy the celebration, you can find the link to the virtual celebration of Dingus Day on WKYC.com. Hey, here's a quick programming note for you. 3 News is teaming up with the Cleveland Indians to help raise money for the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Ohio. That happens this Thursday. You can donate money by going to WKYC.com. The fundraiser is from 7:30 to 8:30, but our digital coverage actually begins at 6:30. Again, that's this Thursday evening. Still ahead on What's New, a lot of us are using the extra time at home to do some deep cleaning around the house. We'll tell you something about all of those old plastic containers that many of you probably have in your kitchen. This is valuable information you need to know. And Stephanie Haney, a very good Monday to you. What's clicking in Cleveland?
Well, Jay, we may have our best look yet at what the Cleveland Browns will look like in 2020. I am talking about their uniforms. We'll show you what's been uncovered and more when we come back right after this on What's New.
Welcome back to What's New. A lot of us are using this extra time at home to do a deep dive on some of those spring cleaning projects we have around the house. So we thought to help you out, we would go directly to a pro to give us tips along the way. And here's a pretty good one. I was not aware of this. When you make your way to the kitchen, take a look at all of those plastic containers you no doubt have in your cabinets. A consumer advocate tells us that any plastic food container that has the number 3 or 6 on it, you'd find this number on the bottom, they need to be tossed. Elizabeth Leamy says they're outdated and you need to replace them if you can swing it.
If your mattress was made before 2010, it didn't benefit from the CertaPure US program, which makes sure that the foam used in mattresses is made without chemicals of concern.
All right, that's another tip that I was unaware of. Keep an eye on that. If your mattress was made before 2010, it would possibly have some of those chemicals in the foam between your mattress. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, here are a few more things that you'll want to consider. Check your smoke detectors. They actually have a shelf life of 10 years. After that, they expire. You'll find the manufacturer's date somewhere on the smoke detector. And if it has a date that predates 2010, they need to come down and they need to be replaced with new ones. And don't forget, when cleaning, wipe down all door handles, outlets, and other hardware. And today was the perfect day, actually, to do some indoor cleaning because Matt Wintz joins us now for the weather. Matt, I, for one, was not brave enough to go out and try to face those strong winds. They were stiff.
Yeah, they absolutely were, Jay. You know, you were talking about how houses are getting cleaner. People are doing deep cleans. I feel like ours has just gotten even messier since I've been home. I don't know if it's me or what, but boy, we've really gone downhill around here. But Jay, you're absolutely right. Those winds continue to howl. It's been a very gusty afternoon, and that's going to continue on through the evening hours. But the good news is the wind will start to ease as we head throughout your Monday evening. But until then, we've got a high wind warning out for Cuyahoga, Lake Geauga, Ashtabula counties. That goes through 11 o'clock this evening. A wind advisory elsewhere. Bottom line, the strongest winds are going to be up towards the lakeshore where we have not a whole lot of friction going on Lake Erie. And you can see that's where some of our higher gusts are. Sustained winds and the white color there, 35 downtown, 31 Ashtabula, but those gusts in the yellow, upwards of the mid-40s this evening, and even still some pretty gusty winds down to the south. So your wind gusts through tonight do this. You can see how they do scale back as we go throughout the overnight. Still a windy overnight, will become just breezy tomorrow, and it's all courtesy of this monster area low pressure that continues its northeastward track into Canada. You can see the isobars, the lines of equal pressure. When you get a lot of those close together, you get windy conditions as that pressure gradient between a high and a low pressure really causes that squeeze. And we've got the squeeze right now, but that squeeze becomes a little lesser over the next couple days. And I just bumped something and went back a couple graphics, but that's okay. You're probably a pro at those now. Let's look at the big picture, because this system is responsible for the severe weather that they had not just Saturday, but Sunday for your Easter Sunday and today. Yesterday in total, nearly 800 severe weather reports. That's an outbreak, folks. 700 wind damage reports across portions of the southeast, and unfortunately 54 tornadoes. Just a devastating time across the Tennessee and Mississippi Valley. But for us, we were kind of in between. If you joined me last night, I was talking about how we had the snow on the northern side of this, the rain and the storms on the southern side. We were in between with just wind and rain, so it could have been a lot worse. But we're all dealing with the colder conditions, as this is a pattern-changing front that's going to knock our temps down over the course of the week. So we're in the 40s right now. We're heading back for the 30s tonight with a brisk wind. Your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast showing the 30s coming into play around 9 or 10 o'clock. And then we're back into the low 30s for many of us. The clouds that we have will start to break. I think we'll see clearing skies overnight tonight, and sunshine should greet you on your Tuesday morning with temperatures in the low 30s. So a chilly start. By afternoon tomorrow, though, much improved over today. It will be chilly. High temperatures only in the 40s, but we ought to have some sun with some high clouds floating in. Wednesday, we get another system in here that brings maybe some rain and snow chances to the area. We'll detail that in just a second. But tomorrow's get outside forecast, go ahead and do it. I've got us at a 7 out of 10. We'll have clouds, some sunshine around. Morning, midday, afternoon, and evening all look great. All right, let's look at the extended with your Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. Yeah, we're in the 40s over the course of the week. Our next storm system arrives Wednesday with a little bit of rain and snow possible later in the day. Thursday, we dry out briefly, and then Friday, we're going to watch another quick-moving but weak weather system. Could spread some snow mix over the area. And then for the weekend, we'll keep our eyes on that weekend. 50s and 60s return, at least briefly, to the forecast. Jay?
All right, Matt. Sounds okay. Just for what it's worth, I know you have no pull over this. A forecast filled with 70s and sunshine would be great. If you can work that out into the near, next 2 weeks or so, we would love you for that. Thanks, Matt.
I'll make some phone calls.
When What's New comes right back. Very good. When What's New comes right back, get excited, Cleveland Browns fans, because the brand new uniforms will be unveiled on Wednesday. But did we already get a sneak peek? That's ahead when Stephanie tells us what's clicking in Cleveland. It's all next.
Yay, thank you. Good news. Mic check. This is what's clicking in Cleveland today. It really is all hands on deck here in Ohio when it comes to making that PPE.
Yeah, I am. I just per that note from Jason where it seems to hang up if you're connected for longer than an hour. Okay, all right, I'll keep it on.
Well, now it's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland, and for that we turn to Stephanie Haney. Hi there, Stephanie. How you doing?
Hi, Betsy. I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. How are you doing today?
We're hanging in there just fine. I heard you make mention of something about PPE earlier.
I did. That's right. You know, it really is all hands on deck here in Ohio when it comes to getting that personal protective equipment to the people who are on the front lines fighting COVID-19. And that includes the Cleveland Public Library, of all places, which has teamed up with the city of Cleveland, and they today are making 2,000 face shields using their 3D printers. The face shields will go to the city's public safety department and police officers, firefighters, and EMS technicians. So they fired those up today at 10 a.m. They've got 13 printers up and running, and they'll keep doing it until the job is done. All right, moving on to our next story. We know everyone is wondering what the Cleveland Browns are going to look like in 2020. And I'm talking about what they'll be wearing. Browns executive J.W. Johnson tweeted this Easter egg photo showing the new uniforms in silhouette on Sunday. But thanks to technology, Twitter user Wreck the League managed to lighten it up and possibly gave us our first real look at what the uniforms might look like. So you can see no wording on the chest, striped socks, but no stripes there on the shoulders. Now, those details actually line up with the first apparent leak of the Browns uniforms from Uniwatch.com, which you see here. First, we see a return to the Browns classic uniforms with striping on the sleeves and the socks, but on the Color Rush alternate set, there's no striping on the sleeves or Cleveland wording across the chest, like in the lighted photo. By the way, the Browns also tweeted that all team proceeds from the new jerseys will go to their Hats Off to Our Heroes Fund. So that'll help out people facing adversity related to COVID-19 pandemic. And by the way, Betsy, I did try out that lightning trick on my phone with that J.W. Johnson tweet, and it's legit. So we might be seeing him early, but we're definitely going to see him on Wednesday.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait for that. And of course, we just can't wait to get anything started back as far as normality in sports goes. We do appreciate it. Thanks, Stephanie. Well, still ahead at 5, more people are losing their health insurance. We answer your questions about short-term coverage and Medicaid. And swapping chicken breasts for chicken thighs. In my family, we call that going to the dark side. How to whip up an easy meal with meat you may not always think of using. And we could all probably use a good workout about now. You know, the 15 we've all gained here. Well, our expert shows us an at-home workout that doesn't require equipment. We'll be right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And welcome back to What's New. I'm Jay Crawford, starting week number 4 of hosting from home. Betsy, I can hardly believe that it's already been 3 full weeks into week number 4 now.
No.
Betsy Kling, of course, holding down the fort, running lone wolf style back in the studios. Betsy, I know you have an update to an incredible story we first told our viewers about on Friday. What is that?
I do. This story is so wonderful. We lent a little technological assistance to help reunite a veteran, Mr. Al Keeling, and his daughter Jackie, virtually ahead of Al's 100th birthday last week. Well, his real birthday was yesterday, and even though they couldn't be together physically, his family drove by his assisted living center for a birthday parade. Look at him out there with his little crown on. Isn't that so cute? Little parade, big birthday. Well, happy birthday, Mr. Keeling. We hope you can all celebrate together very, very soon. Well, let's switch gears now. We're still dealing with the high winds, and they're causing some power outages across Northeast Ohio. Matt Wentz has been keeping up with the latest on all of that. Hi, Matt.
Well, hi there, Betsy. Yeah, the winds have been howling over the last 24 hours, all courtesy of this big storm system moving through. Power outage check, we're still up near 3,000 across Northeast Ohio. Hopefully that number coming down as winds begin to ease here this evening. But it's still gusty outside. Take a look at the current winds right now. 35 mile per hour sustained wind downtown, 31 over in Ashtabula. We've had gusts still coming in the last 15 minutes in the 40 to 45 mile per hour range. A little bit lesser wind as you get down towards the south. That's furthest away from this area, low pressure. But the damage already done. We've had wind gusts in the mid-50s from Jefferson over towards LaRange and Eva on the Lake. Even downtown Cleveland, 53 mile per hour gusts. Wayne County, you were susceptible to the winds as well, with gusts near 50 miles per hour over the last 24 hours. And even Lakemore down towards Summit County checking in with a 48 mile per hour gust. And Port Clinton, Mentor, and Willoughby have had strong gusts as well. Now, the wind advisory continues for areas down to the south. And then we have a high wind warning out for areas of Ashtabula, Lake Geauga, even Cuyahoga County that goes through the evening hours. Coming up in the forecast, Betsy, we'll let you know exactly when this wind eases. And we've got a pretty chilly week ahead with a couple quick-moving weather systems. We'll detail that all coming up in the full forecast. Betsy?
All right. Thanks so much, Matt. Jay?
All right, Betsy, let's get everyone caught up to date now on the latest coronavirus headlines. 274 people have now died from the virus. And here in Ohio, there are 6,975 confirmed positive cases statewide. Dr. Amy Acton has signed an order requiring long-term care facilities to notify patients and their families within 24 hours of a resident or staff member at that facility testing positive for coronavirus. And Governor Mike DeWine is under increasing pressure to reopen the state's economy. His stay-at-home order expires May 1st. The governor said today the decision on when to reopen business will be even harder than the one he made closing them down. Betsy?
All right, thanks, Jay. Well, it's time now for our top talker. Many people losing their jobs are also losing their health insurance. Today's senior health correspondent Monica Robbins is answering your questions about short-term coverage.
Joining me in the Health Hub is Tim McNichols, Executive Director at Lighthouse Insurance Group based in Independence. Is it possible to get health insurance for the short term until you land a new job?
And those are something that's relatively new. They have a lot of the same types of coverage options that you would have with an ACA plan. The only thing that is a little different there is that if you have a pre-existing condition, I would never recommend one of those types of plans for somebody that has that, because they're not going to get covered, or they won't cover that pre-existing condition. So if you have something like diabetes, or you've had cancers or something along those lines, it's not a policy that we would ever recommend to you, but it's for a healthy family, or somebody that doesn't see a doctor a lot and they want some basic insurance, and they want to have that coverage. Those are really, really good options, and they're really affordable. And you can also pick them for a duration of time.
If someone's income plummets and they go to benefits.gov and find out if they qualify for Medicaid, is there anything else they should remember?
Are you eligible for subsidies through the ACA? That's something that a lot of people forget about or don't think about or don't think that they're actually eligible. So it's seeing where you fall on that list of how many members are in your family, what is your income, all those kind of factors come into place about where you would fall in that spectrum of be able to go to an ACA plan with a subsidy or go to something like Medicaid. So it's really financial more than anything else.
Committed to bringing you facts, not fear. Monica Robbins, 3 News.
And that will continue to be quite a concern for a lot of folks in the near future. Let's check back in with Russ Mitchell for more news headlines. Hi there, Russ.
Hey, Betsy, here's what's happening. The southern U.S., of course, has been hit hard by strong storms and as many as 40 tornadoes. At least 22 were killed, dozens injured in Mississippi, Georgia, Arkansas, and the Carolinas. Buildings and homes were damaged. More than 1 million customers still do not have electricity. Tonight, one person is dead after troopers tell us a driver going the wrong way on the Ohio Turnpike hit a cargo van head-on and was killed. This happened near North Royalton. We were told that the driver also hit a trooper's car. The trooper was taken to the hospital. No word on a condition. And take a look at this. Signs went up outside the Cleveland Clinic's Hillcrest Hospital, thanking caregivers for everything they are doing on the front lines of the coronavirus pandemic. Some of the signs, you see it right there, say, "You are the heroes." And how appropriate is that? Certainly. And Betsy, as you mentioned earlier, we're waiting for the president to make a statement. His daily coronavirus briefing begins at about 5:50 today, allegedly.
Oh, yeah, right. We'll have to wait
see.
and see when that is. All right. Thank you so much, Russ. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Jay?
All right, Betsy, it is time for our daily pop break. Celebrities salute our frontline healthcare workers and the colorful cast of characters from the Netflix runaway hit Tiger King. Where are they now? Stephanie gets us up to speed.
On the 3rd installment of John Krasinski's Some Good News, he took a group of nurses who just happened to be huge Red Sox fans to Fenway Park for a surprise message.
Hey Boston, let's give it up for our heroes. Yeah.
The mayor! The governor of Massachusetts? The entire Red Sox team is saying thank you.
Along with the thank you, AT&T says it's giving nurses and doctors across the country 3 months of free wireless service on its FirstNet network, built exclusively for first responders. Things got a little awkward on Easter Sunday when Lizzo started twerking on Diddy's Instagram Live, and he shut it down.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Sunday. Let's play something a little bit family friendly.
Lizzo apologized and suggested he turn on her song Juice, and the party was back on.
Gotta blame it on my juice, baby.
But Lizzo's fans were not happy. That is until Diddy later clarified what really happened.
My queen, my sister Lizzo, when I stopped the music, it was because it had a lot of curses in there. Not because she was twerking. She's one of the best twerkers in the world, okay? So let's keep that clear. It wasn't about twerking. You're allowed to twerk on Easter.
Okay, spoiler alert. Here's a rundown of the juicy details revealed on Tiger King and I, which dropped yesterday on Netflix. Eric Cowie still works at the GW Exotic Animal Park, but still hasn't watched the documentary. Rick Kirkham claims Joe Exotic is actually terrified of big cats, and Saf has watched his arm get ripped off by a tiger many times because Joe used it in a safety training video.
This should be the one thing people need to see before they decide if this is a career move they want to make.
As for Joe, everybody in the reunion show agreed that he got what he deserved: prison. Kirkham says that he still has nightmares about the things he saw happen at the GW Exotic Animal Park, and John Ranke, who used to manage the zoo, said that he will not call Joe in prison because everything's recorded and Joe doesn't know how to shut up. So kind of makes you wonder, Jay, what he doesn't want said.
I'm wondering, Stephanie, have you finished the entire series and did you watch the latest episode?
I watched snippets of the reunion. I haven't watched the whole thing because I still have a couple more episodes to go.
All right. I watched the whole series. It's a guilty pleasure. When you start it, you can't stop it. I do plan to watch the reunion show sometime very soon. Steph, thanks. We'll see you soon. Since meat is a hard thing to come by in grocery stores, we asked a chef to put together an easy recipe with ingredients that you might not always use. Betsy?
All right, and today is National Thomas Jefferson Day. The former president's the former president's birthday is today. What year was he born? Was it 1732, 1743, or 1751? I really thought this was going to be a pop quiz about twerking and Easter, but apparently I was wrong. We'll have the answer to this question when we come back. Well, the answer to the pop quiz is 1743. Now we all know that was the year Thomas Jefferson was born. Well, we continue dealing with some high wind across the area at this moment. Advisories and warnings are still in place. Matt Wentz has been keeping an eye on all of that. Now, are you stealing Easter candy? Matthew Wentz, you are...
Betsy, what is the best part of your children's Easter basket? Thank you. Thank you very much. I've had plenty of chocolate. The kids don't know that it's missing. They've still got a lot in there. They don't know how to count yet. So
there you go.
We're in good shape. I've still got some peanut butter chocolates left. You just let me know. I'll send them over to the station.
Okay.
I think you need to let them sit for 14 days, though. All right, high wind warning across areas of Cuyahoga, Lake Geauga, Ashtabula County. That goes to 11. The gusty winds that we have outside have been really strong, especially towards the lakeshore, but they're starting to subside. That's some good news. We've got a wind advisory through 8 o'clock elsewhere. So let's go hour by hour and get right into it in terms of the winds and the gusts. You can see right now we've got gusts upwards of 40 still. Look what happens by 10 o'clock, though. That low pressure starts to pull away. High pressure starts to build in. So we'll have gusts still in the 18 to 30 mile per hour range, but we are going to start to ease that wind as we go throughout our Monday night into Tuesday morning. And by tomorrow, just a breezy day. That's about it, and we'll take it. We could use some sunshine around here as well. So the big picture shows that powerhouse storm system heading up into areas of Canada now. All those isobars around it indicate how strong that low is, and that pressure gradient between that continues to produce some of those strong winds that continue to ease. But we've had 800 total severe weather reports just yesterday alone across the southeastern half of the United States, including over 50 potential tornado reports. Obviously, they go out and survey those, but some very strong tornadoes from the same system. For us, it was just windy. All the rain is gone. We're starting to dry things out, but we're bringing in colder air. Notice the temperature drop today. Once that cold front went by, we were in the 60s for many of us, and then, boo, down around noon, 1 o'clock, we go from 55 to 45 in a matter of minutes, and that cooler air is with us here this evening. So temperatures in the low 40s now. We're heading down to the 30s tonight. Let's take you hour by hour with that National Design Mart forecast. Skies will start to clear out. We've already seen some peaks of sunshine. That will continue to be the case overnight tonight, with temps settling back into the 30s. For your day tomorrow, I think notably better than what today brought in terms of the wind and the clouds and even the rainfall. We should have a mix of clouds and sunshine tomorrow. We'll be on the chilly side, though, with temperatures generally holding in the 40s. And then Wednesday, we bring in another quick-moving weather system from the west. But the Get Outside forecast tomorrow, I've got us at a 7 out of 10. We could do better, right, with some 60s and 70s and sunshine, but we'll take 40s with some sunshine and cloud mix. Morning, midday, afternoon, evening, all looking great. All right, let's talk about what happens after that with the Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. You can see that rain snow chance re-entering the picture as we go into the latter half of the day on Wednesday. That's a series of weak weather systems that will slide through the area, very quick movers. We dry out on Thursday, still in the 40s. Friday, we'll have to watch another system. May bring some snow mix to the area. We'll keep an eye on the track of that one as well. It could still snow here in late April. And then the weekend, we have a quick recovery. That's very characteristic of this time of year, back to near 60 degrees with a shower chance on Sunday. Betsy, we'll send it back to you in the studio. And I've got some work to do here.
Get to it, Matt. I'm sure you'll spread the love later on. All right, thank you so much. But we are waiting on the president's press briefing from the White House press briefing room. We did get the 2-minute warning, so we are literally waiting on him to just make an entrance there to the podium. So quite honestly, I don't know how long I'm supposed to tap dance here. Producers, directors, if you would let me know if we're at all closer, or we're going to keep moving. All right, we're going to go on to the package and we'll come back out of this. The package being going to the dark side. Depending on what time you go to the grocery store, you may have had a hard time finding the cut of meat you've been looking for. So we asked our friends at L'Albatross to cook us up an easy dish with meat that we don't always necessarily use. Today we're making simple black pepper chicken thighs.
So we're going to start off with a nice hot skillet. And this is something where you're going to want to get everything prepped ahead, which we have all of our ingredients right here. So we have some Spanish onion right in there. And this is one that goes really, really quick. So get our onion going. And then we're going to add about 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless thighs, chicken thighs. We have some ginger, some garlic, fresh ground black pepper, which I think the fresh ground right out of the pepper mill is the best way to go. Then in here we have a mixture of rice wine vinegar, fish sauce, and some water. And we're just going to let this take and mix it up. And this is going to take about 10 to 12 minutes to cook. And it's going to cook down. And the sugar is going to get it kind of syrupy. It's going to get its umami from the fish sauce. And what we're going to have then is basically right here is our black pepper chicken. So we're going to serve that over some steamed rice right here. So we have some basmati rice that we just steamed up, really nice. And our chicken. And if you see, the sauce comes out really nice and light. It's not too thick, not too thin. And our black pepper chicken.
All right, well, now it is time to go live to Washington, D.C. and President Trump's press briefing for the day.
Before I begin, I'd like to offer my condolences and best wishes to the people all across our great South who have endured deadly tornadoes and other severe weather in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina. My administration will do everything possible to help those communities get back on their feet. We're speaking with their governors and representatives. FEMA's already on its way, and they got there as soon as we heard the word. I said, get out there. So FEMA's there, and you know the great job that FEMA does. It's really something very special. So we just want to say warmest condolences, and we're with you all the way. It's a tough deal. That was a bad level 5. That was a bad group. That's as high as it gets. It was a bad grouping of tornadoes, something that's something incredible. The power, the horrible, destructive power. America is continuing to make critical progress in our war against the virus. Over the weekend, the number of daily new infections remained flat, nationwide flat. Hospitalizations are slowing in hotspots like New York, New Jersey, Michigan, and Louisiana. This is clear evidence that our aggressive strategy to combat the virus is working and that Americans are following the guidelines. It's been incredible what they've done. You looked at the charts, and the charts are, and the models from early on predictions where 100 and 120,000 people looked like if they did well, they were going to unfortunately perish. And we're going to be hopefully way, way below that number. So that will be a sign of people doing things right, but it's still just a horrible thing all over the world, 184 countries. This is all a tribute to our wonderful healthcare advisors and experts who have been with us right from the beginning. We appreciate it so much. In fact, Dr. Fauci's here. Maybe I could ask Tony to say a few words before we go any further. Thank you very much. Tony, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of things, and then I just want to make a comment about something that happened yesterday. You're going to hear from Dr. Birx soon about the numbers that we've been talking about, how things are starting to balance off. And I think the more as we go by each day, I think we're going to see, and again, I never like to get ahead of myself or of Dr. Birx, but it looks like even though we've had a really bad week last week, remember when I was speaking to you before, I was saying this was really a bad week. There's still going to be a lot of deaths.
Of course, is Dr. Fauci live during President Trump's press briefing for the day today. We're going to continue to carry this live at WKYC.com and on the Channel 3 News app. For right now, we're going to take a break.
Hey, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Question: is there any way on my prompter, when I log into the Zoom app, the first 2 letters are cut off? Is there any way that someone can fix that?
Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello.
No, so I can't see like it says like gyms, but then it says Lowe's. Sorry.
Welcome back to What's New. Gyms have been closed almost a month now, and if you're like me, you're desperate for a workout. Stephanie Haney was, so she hooked up with a trainer to give her exercise workout that she can do at home without the big equipment.
With fitness studios and gyms closed right now, it's become a trend for instructors to offer at-home classes for free online. And that includes certified personal trainer Sarah Davis, who just so happens to train our 3 News special correspondent Emily Mayfield. So I have her here with me on my computer. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So what do we need for the moves you're going to show me today?
The equipment can be a big hurdle for people, so today we're going to show 3 bodyweight movements that you need nothing except for something to elevate your foot on and a good pair of socks. For our first move, we're going to do something that's going to activate our quads, our hamstrings, and our glutes. So we don't want your foot up here or down here. Something right here is perfect.
Okay.
You're going to hit a split squat, so you're going to go down, right back up, and squeeze and engage those glutes. So you don't want your knee over your toe, and you don't want to be back here.
Okay.
So you're gonna do on the right, hands on the hips, keep your core tight, and then you're gonna also do on the left. Next, we're gonna go to our abs. Everybody loves abs.
Yes.
And this is something that you can do every day. Shoulders are gonna be stacked over our wrist here. This is where our socks come into play. So you're gonna find a nice plank position. And there's 2 variations of a plank. You can be forearm or on your palms.
Okay.
So you're gonna be up, core tight, body level. We don't want here, we don't want here. And you're gonna tuck those toes in to the belly button and push them right back out. So here, 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 here. Last but not least, we have a sumo jump squat. So you can kind of find back here. We don't want to be here or here. So we just have a nice back and a little jump. If you have any knee problems, a squat is perfectly fine. So what we're going to do today to mix it up a little bit, is 1, 2, right into a jumping jack. 1, 2.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? That counts as 1. You've got 10. And I would recommend doing that anywhere from 3 to 5 times through, and you've got yourself an awesome sweat for the day.
I'll tell you what, I was feeling it after just one of those circuits. And Jay, she also showed me modifications if you want to kick it up a notch or tone it down a notch. So we've got that extended version on WKYC.com and our WKYC app if anybody wants to check that out.
All right, very good. Stephanie, thanks. Look, a lot of us are in need of a workout. You don't need the equipment now. You can do it right at home. Steph, thank you very much. That's going to do it for another edition of What's New. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Betsy, myself, and the 3 News team will be back tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. Betsy, I'll see you then.
You got it, Jay. We'll see you tomorrow. But what matters most with Russ and Laura starts right now.